What the hell are you doing out here, Fred? What the hell are you doing out here, Fred? No. What the hell are you doing out here, Fred? How did you get out here? Fred, if you're real, you better tell me right now. Fred! Damn it, Fred! Damn it, Fred! Damn it! Mike! Mike!
Oh no, hell no, I'm real. Don't you shoot me, I shoot back. No more zombie movies for you. I told you they weren't real.
Oh yeah, good point. All right. Woo! I'm out of bullets. I'm out of bullets. Cover! Hey, Mike!
Yeah?
I think there's 3 of them.
Yeah, I agree.
2 of them. 2. Oh yeah, 2 now, Mike. Hey,
I think
Mike.
we can flank them.
Well, I think you can flank them, Mike. You want to do it or you want me to?
No, I got it. You're slow.
Oh, you are faster than me. Okay, Mike, are you ready? Flank them right. Go.
Hey, move in.
Move! Holy shit. Bro, did you see those motherfuckers over there?
Yeah, I think we got most of them.
I think we did too. I think there's for sure maybe 2 left.
Yeah, maybe.
Hey,
Yeah.
what the fuck is that fucking thing?
It's a grip pod, bro.
That's bullshit, man. That's fucking, whoa. That's fucking bullshit. Why did you get that and I don't? What am I supposed to use right here?
I'm better than you.
Look at him right there.
Oh, there he is.
Oh shit, my fucking shit jammed, Mike. Hold on.
Hey, if you had a grip pod.
Okay, I got him. I got him.
Oh.
Okay.
Hey, why don't you have a suppressor? That was loud.
Well, you told me not to run one.
Oh.
Hey, listen,
you're right.
did you hear about that new thing called the iPhone?
The what?
The iPhone?
The iPhone.
Yeah, like Macintosh computer, Macintosh, Mac.
Macintosh.
Yeah, Apple, they made it.
Oh, is like the iPod?
Yeah. Oh, it's a fucking iPod mixed with a phone. Like you're gonna have to get rid of your Droid Razor because adults are gonna have iPhones.
What the fuck?
Adult iPhones.
No.
Yeah,
never.
they just came out with it. This guy had Jobs. You're gonna get one, trust me.
Nah, that'll never work. Man, it's getting hot out here.
Hey, motherfucker, hey! I fucking just told you, leave your goddamn clothes on, it's not that hot. Mike, start shooting at these motherfuckers, dude! Mike, are you gonna shoot back? Ah, fuck it. Mike, I'm gonna run out of ammo and not be able to cover you.
Just give me a second.
Cover! Shit, Mike, they're shooting at us.
I just need a second.
Fucking
It's hot.
Mike, I swear to God, when we go home, the guys are never gonna believe this. I swear to you.
All right, I'm up.
Jesus Christ, Mike, put your fucking pants on.
Why?
Ah, fuck it.
I told you there's not an officer within 100 miles of here. It's 120 degrees, and you forgot the damn water. I don't care what anybody says. Real operators fight in their underwear.
Hey, Mike, when we get back to the fob,
Yeah.
we're gonna watch Ratatouille.
What? That new Transformers movie with Megan Fox, dude, she's fucking smoking. I want to watch that.
Who's Megan Fox?
You don't know who Megan Fox is?
No, listen, bro, listen. I'm about done with this deployment, and I'm about to go home, and I gotta already know this from my girls. Like, I've gotta be able to do the Ratatouille.
Why do you gotta be the old man with kids, dude?
I don't know, man. When are you gonna start having kids?
Oh, man, fuck that.
Oh, shit. Hey, guys. What's up? Hey, welcome to the channel. Last American Outlaw here. And today, I thought we'd give you another series in the Mark 18. So, our buddy Chris from Small Arms Solutions has helped us out on a little bit of stuff. We've done some research with him, and one of the guns that he talks about quite often is this Navy EOD Mark 18. And here we are in the real life, flesh and blood, the real deal Navy EOD Mark 18. Get ready.
All right, guys, 2007, this is the rifle that I was issued to go on deployment, exactly set up like this. Because we're a little different than everybody else, let's start at the butt and work to the tip. And to Mike Jones out there, us Navy guys don't like tip to butt, if you know what I mean. All right, guys, so this stock, you won't find this anywhere else out there in the civilian world. This is made by Magpul. It was a very limited run. It was kind of a prototype. You may find it still on their website, but it's really unique. It doesn't use a castle nut to attach. It's 7-position, and if you think back to 2007, we weren't really using 7-position butt stocks. If you ever see pictures of guys that have a big band over a normal collapsible carbine butt stock, they did that for lots of different reasons, but one of them was sometimes that attachment piece that held the stock in position would wear and move around, and then you'd bump it and the stock would slide in or out or what have you. What's really cool about this stock is it actually locks in place. Now, some of you now are like, yeah, the CTR stock from Magpul does that now, and blah, blah, blah stock does that now. Well, in 2007, they didn't. So this was a very unique feature that a lot of us really liked, because as you can see, I've locked it and I can't snag it, move it, pull it out accidentally. And those little 7 positions give you a lot more finite adjustment between your length of pull. Everybody's a little different. The way you wear your kit, your armor, all a little different. So this gave you more options than the SOCOM or standard M4 buffer tube assembly. So another really cool thing that I personally liked about this stock was back here on the end of the butt is a hardened piece of aluminum. It's knurled a little bit. There's slings parts built in, but that wasn't anything fancy back then. What was nice here is every other stock at the time, this was plastic. This one was metal. And so in the rock and what we were doing, you put your gun down or whatever, or what I had to do sometimes was take rifle and break stuff. And this it worked. I could break a piece of glass, I could break into something a little bit more, because frankly, your rifle is a tool, and you'd be surprised how many times you see somebody out there using it to like pry up a rock.
I've never seen anyone pry rocks with their gun. Oh, it works.
I didn't use mine to pry up a rock. I respect it a little bit more than that. But this was a really nice feature to be able to break things if I needed to. Another nice feature at the time, we had additional plates. The end plates of your butt stock or your receiver end plate would have different sling attachments. This one was built in. It's part of the way it actually attaches to the rifle, and it was ambidextrous. Sometimes back then, we didn't have ambidextrous. Some were, some weren't. And it was all set up for mash clips or H&K clips. So next up, the grip. This is also from Magpul. At the time, we had, and to this day now, we still have a standard M4 grip that you come with, and they come with a little nub right here for your finger. And most of us find that very, very irritating. The other thing we don't like about the standard issue grips is this swell back here is not filled. It actually comes in a lot more, so it's real narrow. And most of us have man hands that are bigger, so you want to grip the rifle higher and with more grip. And that little nub here rubs on your middle finger, and there's no palm swell here. So a lot of us, as soon as we could, we swapped to this grip. I find it more ergonomic. I might find it more effective. I like it better, and it came with a storage compartment. So you could put a bolt, an extra bullet. I like to put batteries in there because back then things just ate batteries. So I like to have extra batteries in there because I also couldn't put them in the stock like you could on a SOP mod stock. So next up is the charging handle. This is a standard M4 charging handle with an extended release. And some of you out there and be like, no, it's a PRI gas buster. And yes, I guess if you're trying to clone it, but this is what we had. These are the pieces that we had. We could modify an M4 standard charging handle with this latch. If you bent your PRI, you were down a charging handle. That was a problem. This you could just swap in another charging handle from another rifle spare part kit. All right, so next up we come to the receivers. These are not Colt receivers. Most of them that I saw were Colt upper and lower receivers, but frankly they're mil spec. So if it was an FN or one of them was an Armalite, they're all the same. All this stuff that we're going to talk about, you would take on and off of whatever this upper and lower was. So it really didn't matter. If you're trying to clone it, this is not a direct clone. This is a clone of the capability because, again, this is a tool. I'm cloning the capability. But if you're a direct wanting to clone it, you would get a Colt upper and lower. On the bolt carrier group, you can't see it in here, but this one is actually a Colt correct bolt carrier group with a McFarlane gas system in it. At the time, we were using those gas rings on the bolt itself inside the bolt carrier group, so we had less gas leakage and things like that. There were some issues with older rifles having excess gas leakage, which would cause cycle problems and rate of fire issues. So if I was picking right now, would I need that? No, I would get a normal mil-spec, high-quality bolt carrier group, and I would just use that. So onto the rear sight, you may go, oh, this is not a Knight's Armament. No, this is an arm sight, and if you notice, it fits really well with what we'll get to on the Handguard system. This is an arm sight. It has both a low visibility or a nighttime aperture and a daytime aperture. It fits perfectly on the upper, and it is a flip up. So it has a right windage adjustment. Your elevation is taken care of by your front sight post. This was the one that we were issued that fit with this system. Later on in deployments and other weapon systems, we got other ones. I still really like this one, and it works really well. So the optic on this is an EOTech. This is the AA battery version with the night vision capability. I painted the hood just to make it match, so it does come off pretty easily. This is the sight that we grew up with and we used. The other option was an aim point, a Comp M2. This seemed to work better. This is what I saw most guys run. Some ran the aim points, but this really just kind of worked with this slightly higher setup that we had with this Handguard. One of the reasons I personally liked the EOTech, and most of the guys did, was the window box on this versus the older aim points was wider, and that larger segmented circle they had allowed you to very easily pick up moving targets because you could see the circle, and then you could put the target in the middle of the circle. Even if you didn't see the dot, you knew that's where it was. So it just allowed you to very rapidly get effective rounds on targets, especially moving targets, in my opinion. So other drawbacks to the EOTech were battery life. Now, they were very easy to replace, just a lever, and they're AA batteries, so they're very common, but battery life did kind of suffer. And the other problem that I had, and I personally noticed with EOTechs, was because of the way the battery is situated in the recoil impulse of the rifle, the little springs would wear in there and the little contacts, and every once in a while, if the rifle took a hard fall or something, it would blank out. The whole reticle would turn off because it wasn't contacted anymore. So that's ultimately why they switched and ran them 90 degrees. Whole nother story on that, developed by the Navy. But that was a drawback of this, so you just had to be mindful of it. Some people complain about them falling off. Mine has a tension screw on here, and I would crank it on pretty good. It didn't seem to have a lot of issues, but I would check it from time to time. You could put Loctite on that screw to keep it from moving off, but that's operator choice. So next up, the barrel. Just like the other version of the Mod O, this has the pinned front sight post and a government profile, later on SOCOM heavy profile barrels. Now, what really worked well, why I loved this configuration, was because with the EOTech, one, the front sight post is easily seen through the optic when you pull it up, and if the battery ever did go die or for some reason you had a failure, you didn't even need to worry about finding your rear sight. It was front sight focus, and you can engage your threats. So this is still a very viable option today, especially if you have any concern over the durability, ruggedity, or battery life of your optic, so that you always have see-through backups. This is an NT4 muzzle brake, and it's to support the NT4 silencer. Unique about this flash suppressor, it works really, really well. It's a kind of a modified birdcage design, which is shown effective, very effective, even to this day. And what you guys might not realize is a lot of times in a combat situation, you may not see directly that's the bad guy enemy, but you can see the muzzle flashes at you, so you're shooting it this flash. So the more you can subdue your flash, the enemy's doing the same thing to you, the better and the more higher rate of survival you potentially have. So this is the NT4 suppressor. It's fast attach, pretty simple system. It's heavy. It is gassy, especially on a 10.3 inch system, but it's effective and it's bulletproof. These things, countless number of rounds, and they still work. So is it viable today? Yes, if you can find one, great. They're really hard to come by. Marine Corps and Navy still use this today. You'll find it, intermixed everywhere.
Okay, Mike, listen. I've got a question for you. You told me on multiple occasions that you don't like to run a silencer when you're at work. If you're in a specific role, you would prefer not to run a silencer. Now, I prefer to run a silencer, but tell me why you specifically don't like running it for CQB.
So two things. One, it does overgas the whole system, so you get more cloud if you have rapid fire, regardless of what charging handle you have back here. And the other reason is when you don't have the suppressor on these 10.3 inch guns, there's such a massive concussion on the business end that it's very disorienting if you go in a room and you shoot. Not as the shooter, you know that explosion's happening, but to anybody else in there is like, they just get this concussion. It's like micro flashbangs going off, which can be very advantageous to you, and they get disoriented, their ears ring, and they don't, it takes their will to fight out a little bit more. You know it's coming, you're wearing Peltors, you have hearing protection. So those are some reasons why I don't necessarily like it. And this thing, after a little rate of fire, gets really, really, really hot. And you brush it up against your leg, or you have to grab a hold of it, and it can burn you. That can be offensive in some ways, but it can also be problematic getting in and out of small spaces, and you have to worry about burning yourself. So that's why I don't necessarily like to have it on.
So guys, listen, I'm not the CQB master. There are literal giants out there, and those giants a few of them are friends of mine, and it is really a 50-50 crapshoot as to whether on their 10.3s, 10.5s, 11.5s, they're gonna have a suppressor or silencer on there. The reason why is that extra concussion. So you gotta think about this as CQB. One, there's not two dudes doing it, there's not four. There's usually 20, 30, 40 people somewhere in there that are hitting one house for one bad guy. I know you thought you could do it with just you and your buddies, but you can't. There's usually a massive support system there. And you got guys coming in all rooms, explosion that starts at the door, explosion that starts at the back door, maybe it's in the wall. There's flashbangs coming into every rooms. They're not one bangers, they're three bangers or four bangers. And then 6 dudes barrel in the room, and then they're all firing this. And it's so much chaos going on that if you're the bad guy, you're like, I don't know what, boom, 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 right? And that's what we want. So this is an option. It's a great option. It's a well-used option. What's the best option for you? I don't know, because I don't know what you're gonna do with your CQB rifle.
Moving on to the light, we have the Insight M6X. Some of you may think, oh, we had PEC 2s, we had PEC 5. Yes, we did. This was a version that I really gravitated towards because it was less bulk, less size, and it worked really well. It has an IR filter on here. It does have a momentary switch, and it has a red laser. So effectively, I could open it up and get a daylight, close it, and have an IR light and a day laser. And I can switch them right back here, whether or not with the laser on or not. So effectively, I can put the IR cap on, turn the red laser off, and I have an IR illuminator at the ranges that we were engaging at, right? This was inside of houses, this is across streets, this was closer range stuff. I didn't need to be able to project an IR illuminator hundreds of meters downrange. That's what like a PEC 2 is much more effective at doing. And then if I needed to search something, I needed day, I can just literally flip it open and I had a light. I didn't have to run a bigger, bulky, surefire light and a PEC and all these other things. Not taken away from those systems, they're solid systems. Also, the integration of that red laser made it very, very nice that in a pinch, I had multiple sighting systems. I had a red laser, I had iron sights, I had an optic. Like, there was gonna be something that I could find to put on a target. So one of the things I really wish the modern goon culture wouldn't have gotten rid of is the grip pod. This thing is awesome. Some of you have seen all the broomsticks, you're like, what is this? Well, hit the button, it turns into a bipod. Like, whoa, I'm taking precision shots. Yes, it does stable up your rifle system, and yes, you can do that. But more importantly, out here in the mud and the dirt and this moon dust where you don't want to have all that shit in your rifle, you can set it down. And it just holds there. Makes it really pretty putting it on the desk. So it's just a shame that this has kind of come out of vogue, because what people don't understand is this is the way we were fighting. The majority of stuff, we fought with a broomstick. So replace this with anything else. This was the ultimate broomstick because you had a built-in bipod, because really you set your rifle down to go do something here or that or what have you, a lot more than you thought you were flat ranging, doing this, whatever you thought you were doing. So I love this thing. It's a little long, but it's really not a problem. So for you goon culture guys, next time you come up with the coolest way to hold your rifle and shoot it, maybe look back at those of us that were doing it. And I'm not the best expert in the whole wide world, but figure out why we did what we did when we did it and how that's truly transitioned in actual modern combat before you think this is the best, coolest way because you saw it on a flat range and you're shooting a silhouette target that you were standing up against that never happens in real life. So in war, this was always with you in the chow hall, in the shitter, wherever you were doing. So those flat rangers out there like, oh, I pull it out and I use it at the range for an hour or half a day, and then you put it back in the case, you get in your car and you drive off. This lived with us all the time. So we did things to it that made it amenable to live with all the time. So before you think this is the way I want to set up my rifle because Umpty Squat set it up this way and he's the latest and greatest new person, think about carrying around your rifle everywhere you go. And then we can have a debate on how you want to put your grip and do you want a suppressor and how long your barrel length is and what optic you want to run. And this is the best buttstock in the whole wide world. Live with your rifle, then we can start talking. So I know I said I was going to go from butt to tip, and I left out this big thing in the middle. The thing that probably stands out the most when you see this rifle is the Handguard system.
Everybody wanted to know what that was first, and you're doing it last. Why?
Well, because they weren't going to stay to the end of the video.
Stay to the end of the video!
And like and subscribe! So this is the CAS5 ELT handguard system for Veltor. I really like this handguard. I know there were some of my other compadres like, oh man, I didn't like it as much or this, that, and the other thing. I still to this day love this handguard for a couple kind of cool features that were very innovative back then and still very applicable now. So one, it doesn't require you to remove your barrel to attach it. You don't have to do anything else. At the time, we weren't going to pop barrels off to put handguard systems on. So if you look at a normal Mod O system, they had a snap-in Knights Rail handguard system or an M4 today. Those did not free float the barrel. I was an accuracy snob and I wanted a free floated barrel. So this attaches back here to the delta ring, but it's held in place attaching to the upper receiver. So it free floats the entire front end of the system. There's no attachment points up here. Does it improve accuracy? Yes, because the free floated barrel system is going to improve accuracy. How much? Well, it's a mil-spec carbine with a 10.3 and you're shooting, 62 green tip or 77 grain, ammo. It improves it and it's more consistent. How much? Each gun's a little different. So I love the fact that it is a free floating system. I also, if you see now all the modern stuff, these high-rise mounts, we're gonna go, oh, well, it's a 193 and it's a 2.0 and now it's a 226. And there's even one out there now that's like almost 3 inches tall off the top of the optic or off the top of the rail. And so when you put your head down, you don't have to get in on the rifle. Well, if you notice, this adds a little bit of a riser. And if you look back, you can find some old videos of Delta Force guys. They were actually running separate riser systems on their receivers. They had different hand guards and what have you, because none of this wasn't invented then. And they were raising their optic up. My firearms instructor, when I first came in, was an SAS, Brit SAS guy. And he had his optic really, really, really high. He had stacked risers on top of risers because he was shooting in a gas mask all the time. And he needed that. So the fad or the momentum that is building now with this higher rise optic system, I mean, it's very well placed for lots of reasons. Back then, we didn't have a lot of options. This gave us a little bit more. So when you get on behind this rifle, you don't have to dig in to the cheek piece on the buttstock quite as much. Basically, it puts everything in a lower 1/3 position as opposed to a direct co-witness with your iron sights. And that was innovative back then. That was new. That was different, very different. And so I really like that about this handguard. I also really liked how I had the option of putting the 1913 rails where I wanted to on the side. It was slick, it was smooth. I didn't have to have the quad rail that would eat my hands up. So if I, for some reason, didn't have this, I can pull this bottom rail off. I can put them on the side. If I wanted to mount something, I could screw them all in, and I just could take them off. The other thing that I loved personally about this was we were issued 2 rifles. We were issued a 10.3 inch upper and we were issued a standard M4. But because we couldn't just modify the barrels on our M4s, they had front sight posts. I could take this handguard off and put it on my M4. In my M4, sometimes I wanted to run a grenade launcher. What's amazing about this system is I can push these tabs in, pull this down, and now I can mount my grenade launcher. It just snaps right in. Still free floats. Well, the grenade launcher doesn't free float because it does attach to an M4 on the barrel, but it allowed me to take this off, put it on my M4, and run a grenade launcher. Couldn't do that with any other systems at the time.
All right, guys, thanks for watching this unique video that I think it was really cool to be able to do was the Mark 18 Mod 0 Block 1 EOD. I've never even seen anybody clone one of these, so I'm super excited that Mike brought it for us. Thanks, Mike. So do me a favor, in the comments below, tell me what you want to see next. But more importantly, 375,000 of you are watching this video over and over and over, but you're not subscribing. I know it doesn't matter to you, but it helps us a lot so that we can keep bringing these to you and get new options of weapons to bring to you in reviews. So if you want to keep getting us on this screen with these cool guns, I need you to actually subscribe. I hate to ask that, but I need you to do it. Outlaw out.